The tale of the Bookish Babysitter begins with Belinda. I won't give away too much info about her, but let's just say she sits babies and can be quite bookish. She spends most of her time doing and saying weird things that, in the real world, wouldn't land her much repeat business. For instance, muttering stuff under her breath well within earshot of the parents, and dressing like a member of the Addams family. Unfortunately for Ricky, the kid who's being babysat, books are not his forte. He prefers to do things that every kid in the 90s did, such as watch black and white public domain movies like White Zombie. Belinda says no, so it's time for him to hit the books and broaden his imagination. But luckily, Ricky has a Game Boy to help stifle this sudden surge of intellectual enlightenment, until someone casts a shadow over the damn thing, rendering it useless. Turns out it's just the knight who's tired of waiting his turn to play. Suddenly, the knight turns into a ghastly old man who looks like he just crawled out of some bushes. Fortunately for our two heroes, specters are able to pass through any object they wish except doors, so they're safe for the time being. Belinda is busy burning pages of her mysterious omniscient book in order to destroy whatever entities Ricky has set free. But things are not all that they appear to be. It turns out that Belinda was never really in the room, and the other Belinda was an imposter. Actually, it's a man in drag, but that's beside the point. The fake babysitter was actually trying to destroy the book for his own personal gain, which begs the question, if he wanted to destroy the book, then why didn't he just throw the whole thing in the fire all at once? But they soon find out that a man in drag is a powerful foe because he moves their barricade away from the door with ease. Left with no other alternative, Belinda and Ricky are driven into the basement. Ricky is reminded once again that he has control over the story, so he does the first logical thing anyone would do in this kind of situation.
They ran down to the basement, where he kept his Uzi. Yeah, his Uzi! Just in case of attacks by knights, ghosts, and other nasty things.
But Nickelodeon's standards and practices won't allow it, so Ricky has to get creative, or even worse, imaginative. He then grabs the book and begins to read when, without warning, gets sucked right in. After the initial confusion of being teleported to another place, he realizes that the book is recording everything he says, which has some of the best voice recognition software ever, especially for 1994. Even in 2015, it would probably read like...
He stared blankly for several seconds, unable to believe his eyes.
Anyway, it turns out Ricky has been teleported to a dank crypt full of dead people who are also trying to broaden their imagination.
Oh, gross!
But he's not alone, and now all Ricky needs to do is find a sign to quell the vengeful knight. It ends up being the sword on his shirt. Thank God Ricky wore that particular shirt today. I wonder what would have happened if it was in the laundry that day and he had to wear something else. But out of pure luck, it works, and the knight surrenders the sword. Then he dies just like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sort of. From out of nowhere, a little girl appears, but surprise, surprise, it's the man in drag again. Ricky slices that tranny open and is promptly knighted by the newly freed king for his heroic service. I guess it just goes to show that if you want to stop watching TV and read a book, then you'd better be ready to do battle with a knight who's out for your blood. And the moral of the story is that most problems can be solved with violence. Only by disemboweling someone does Ricky finally learn to never take his imagination for granted.